Hi everyone and welcome back to Indie Rain Rocks. So today's video is going to be all about my experience meeting Louis at his wall signing in Marlborough, and I'm not going to lie to you, I'm not really sure how we ended up in Marlborough, except that I do know how we ended up in Marlborough, and that was because that I found out through a friend who lives close by to the venue where Louis was doing his signing. She basically found out that Louis was going to be there a day before Louis announced that he was doing signings, so she told me that Louis was going to be there. So I called up the record store and I was like, hi, can I please get a wristband and a CD for Louis signing? And they were like, yeah, of course. Kind of gave them my name and everything else, and then I ended up in Marlborough, and then the day after he announced the other venues that he was going to be doing the signing for, and I was just like, I just watched the claps on Twitter basically thinking, I've got Marlborough and I don't need to stress. I'm not really sure why I didn't get like London or Doncaster at the time. I think I was like busy doing things on those days, so Marlborough luckily was the only day that I was like able to do. But it was a time, it was a chaotic time, like trying to get on the phone. I think we had to ring them like 3 times because people were slowly starting to find out that Louis was going to do signings, and as far as we were aware, that was the only one he was doing. So we had to call quite a few times before we got through, and then we finally did, and then I ended up with my ticket to meet Louis, and I was just so excited because obviously like it was a signing for his first album, so I was like, I have to be there because I have to congratulate him like on finally releasing his album, which I did, but I will tell you more about that as we get more into the video. So for anyone who doesn't know where Marlborough is, it's basically way out of London. Like it's literally in the middle of nowhere. It was like in the countryside. So we had to get like a bus to Marlborough and then another 40-minute bus to the venue. And it was just like, it was crazy. It was just, you know, it was a chaotic day. It was a very long day because we got there quite early so we could pick up our tickets and kind of get a good space in line where we weren't like too close to the front, but we were like in the middle-ish. So we just genuinely had a really good time because obviously it took so long to get there. That's why we had to get there quite early. And then we had to be like really quick getting back because I think like the final bus left at like 8 o'clock from like the station to get us back to London, so that's why we got there early as well, so we could have a decent place in the queue so we were able to get home after the signing, because if not then we would have been stuck there all night not knowing what to do. So it was just a fun day all in all. I saw so many people there who I know who obviously like tried to go to as many Louis signings as possible so they could congratulate him all these times, and it was just a fun day overall. And even after the signing we went into like the pub next door and like had a drink and kind of just talked about like our experience meeting him, and it was just the most chilled out day, honestly. It was just so nice, so like stress-free in a way. Like sometimes you can go to these signings and you can feel quite stressed because obviously you're gonna like meet this artist or not know what to say to them or anything like that, but like that day for some reason it was just so stress-free. And we also ended up getting papped quite a lot, and we ended up on the local news, so I'm going to insert, you know, those pictures and that footage right here.
How does that make you feel when you hear that?
Yeah, amazing. You know, I think as a songwriter, you know, that's what that's.
So in the future, in like the next couple of weeks, I am actually going to do a video kind of explaining to you like all my times I've ever been like kind of on TV and radio and things like that, because there's been quite a few times where I've been like asked to be an insider or asked to talk to the news like about like kind of my experiences camping and seeing the boys. So I'm going to make that in a separate video, but just to quickly explain this one, we were basically taking pictures in front of this Louis mural where like, you know, they put loads of pictures of Louis in there so everyone could take pictures in front of it. And the local news got there just as we were taking pictures, so they were like, oh, do you mind if we like film you taking pictures in front of here and like, you know, just being fans essentially. And we were like, yeah, of course, yeah, okay. And because it was like the local news, and we didn't realise at the time until the video kind of came out that they also interviewed Louis. Like I don't think they told us that at the time, so when we saw the video we were like, they interviewed Louis as well. Like there is a very small chance that Louis could potentially see this, and then there's me just dancing in the front of the thing. And I was like, yeah, that's just typical, isn't it? Me just being, you know, chaotic as per, and Louis could potentially see this. So that was, you know, that was fun, that was interesting. Anyway, the day went on and it was finally time for us to be let into the venue to go and meet Louis. And this signing was actually quite different to the others, because I know the others, people like, they were very strict on pictures, and they were saying, oh, you can't take pictures, so the only way you could kind of have any solid proof that you met Louis that day was, one, having your album signed, and two, getting your friends to kind of film you like meeting him, like either from behind you or like in front, just after, like if you went after your friend who met him first, and they'd be able to film from the side. So they were very strict on selfies and pictures. But we were quite lucky at Marlborough because he only had a very small table, so we were able to stand next to him, and they also allowed us to take pictures, so I was quite grateful for that. It was really nice as well, like for people who'd never met Louis before, because obviously it was in such a rural, like kind of a bit random of an area. There was a lot of people there that had kind of never ever been able to kind of experience this sort of thing before, so there were a lot of girls there who'd never met Louis before, or even ever seen Louis before, so it was really nice that they'd be able to have these pictures as a little souvenir as well as their signed album. So it was just like, it was nice being in the atmosphere as well, like people in front and people behind, like kind of getting really excited and being like, oh my goodness, I don't know what I'm going to say to him, it's my first time meeting him, and I was just standing there like overhearing these conversations thinking, oh bless them, like because like back in the day, like used to be me like thinking to myself, oh my goodness, I don't know what I'd ever say to them if I ever met them, and then I'd get into the situation where I was going to be meeting them and then be like, oh my goodness, I don't know what I'm going to say, what am I going to do, how am I going to act, oh my goodness. But yeah, that was just nice hearing, like, overhearing people's conversations of being really excited to meet Louis, and kind of like, you know, all of us just in general talking about the album, because it was his first album. We were just like, I cannot believe we're here at an album signing for Louis Tomlinson for his first album, and we were just like going on all day about how proud we were of him for like everything he'd done and how long he'd waited, and like the time he'd taken to write this album, and then it was finally here, and we were just like, oh my goodness, this is really happening now. We're really at a Louis Tomlinson album signing. So I was probably like, in my friendship group, I was probably one of the last to go to meet Louis, and so we kind of all filmed each other on like our phones and like took pictures from like other angles of our friends meeting Louis, and then it got to my turn. So I walked up to Louis and I was like, hi, how are you doing, and asked how he was, and I gave him my little album booklet to sign, and I had another one in my pocket because basically it was quite strict and we were only allowed to take one thing to sign. So I had another album cover in my pocket that I got at the time when I was standing next to Louis. I got too nervous to pull out because what I wanted him to do was sign one of them and then write Tomo on the other, and then I got too nervous to pull out the other one, so I got him to write Tomo in the top corner of the one that he signed, and I was saying to him, I was just like, you know, congrats on your album, thank you so much for taking your time with it, it's literally amazing. And he was like, oh thanks love, thank you so much, I appreciate that. And then this was just before like tour was supposed to start, so tour was supposed to start like a month after this. So I said to him, if you're going to be covering any songs, I've got a song for you that I think you should cover, because I think it just would really suit your voice and I think you'd be able to cover it really well. And I actually know this band because my mum went to school with the lead singer and the drummer, so obviously I know their music. And when I first heard this song that I suggested to Louis to cover on tour, I was just like, this is such a Louis song, he really needs to hear it. And if you guys want to know what it is, it's called Something's Going On by A, like the band name is just the letter A, and if you can't find it on Spotify, I'll link it in the description below so you can have a listen, see what you think, let me know if you think it's kind of Louis vibes, because I really think that it is. So I gave it to him and I said, oh, I think you'll really like this band and you'll like this song, and they're from Leeds as well, which obviously, you know, Doncaster and Leeds, they're very close to each other, and so I was like, you know, they're a northern band, and he was like, oh yeah, great, I'll check that out, cheers love, I love that, thanks. And I was like, oh, it's okay. And then after that I obviously got him to write Tomo on the album, and then we got our picture, and yeah, that was basically it. If you want to see my interaction, I'm going to include it here.
So much. Hello. Do you want a photo? Yeah? That's not for him, is it?
Yeah, this where to give it?
Yeah, give it to this guy, please. Is that alright? Yeah. Thank you very much.
I like it, I'll check it out. Cheers for that, love. Yeah, no, hold on, stuff. Nice one. Nice one.
Can I write in Tomo on there as well?
Yeah, Tomo.
Thank you. Thank you. He likes it.
Who likes it?
No, he likes it with the kid. That's all. No.
But yes, that was pretty much my experience meeting Louis in Marlborough. It was, like I've already said, it was such a good day, such like a chilled atmosphere, and like just I was just so grateful like for that day, to just have that day and be able to congratulate Louis in person on his album, because we didn't know if we were gonna be able to, like, you know, do that before the tour, and we were so grateful that he did these album signings and we were able to go and meet him and congratulate him. So we were just like, everyone was so super happy. Like, the people who'd met Louis before were super happy because we got to congratulate Louis. The people who'd never met Louis before were super happy because they got to meet Louis, and it was just nice. And like I said earlier, we went to the pub afterwards and like sat and had a few drinks for like a little while whilst we waited for our bus to take us back to the station, and it was just so nice, and it was just a really great day, and I'm just like so grateful to have been there. And if you haven't already, do subscribe below, because my Louis Tomlinson tour dates are coming up in just over 2 months, and if you guys want to see kind of what I get up to on the day of the gig and see some footage from the gig that I take, then subscribe below and stick around for those videos, because they will be coming in April when he finally tours in the UK. But yes, that is basically it from me today, guys. If you didn't see in my video on Wednesday, I am now going to start to post, hopefully, twice a week now, and that's going to be Wednesdays at 6 PM and obviously my usual Sundays at 4 PM. So you get to see my lovely face even more than usual, just mainly because I had so much content ideas and I just wanted to get it all out to you guys. And yes, that is basically the end of this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it, and as usual, I just want to end this video by telling you all to follow your passion, make it happen, and I'll see you all on Wednesday. Bye!